Welcome to the Deep Dive. You know those stories, those worlds that just kind of live rent-free in your head?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's an epic fantasy novel you've read like a dozen times, or maybe an open-world video game where you've just sunk hundreds of hours.
Yeah, building, exploring. We all have those, right? They feel really personal.
They absolutely become part of our, cultural fabrics.
Oh.
And the journey these stories take when they leap from one medium to another. Well, it's often fascinating.
And challenging. Sometimes completely surprising, too.
That's exactly our mission today. We're going to unpack how different creators approach adapting these well-known universes. Think Lord of the Rings, think Minecraft.
Right, and even how a game like The Last of Us sort of reshapes its own story for TV. We've got a bunch of reviews, insights. It's a real mix of perspectives.
Yeah, a rich tapestry, you could say. And the goal for you, listening in, is to pull out those nuggets of knowledge. Why do some adaptations really resonate?
And why do others struggle? What does that tell us about storytelling itself, across different platforms? It's a deep dive into the art of translation, really.
So let's get into it. We have to start in Middle-earth, right? Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings trilogy. I mean, it's widely considered pretty much the gold standard for fantasy adaptation. It sets such a high bar.
Oh, absolutely. And its success wasn't just critical, it was a huge commercial powerhouse.
Right.
Those three films, 2001 to 2003, they grossed nearly $3 billion worldwide.
Wow.
On a combined budget of, around $300 million? That kind of return, it just validated the global appetite for really faithful, high-quality fantasy.
It proved audiences were ready for it.
Exactly. Immersive, epic storytelling.
And that magic, it's clearly still there. Warner Bros. Just re-released the remastered extended editions recently.
Yeah, I saw that. How did they do?
Pretty amazingly well, actually. Fellowship of the Ring, just on one Saturday, pulled in over $2 million domestically.
Just for the re-release?
Just for the re-release. The whole trilogy's re-release gross went over $8 million. It pushed Fellowship's total worldwide gross to over $860 million now.
Incredible. So it wasn't just nostalgia.
No, it really reaffirmed the film's lasting appeal. People still want to go back to Middle-earth. And get this, some cinemas even had 4DX screenings.
Oh, where the seats move and all that.
Yeah, wind, mist, trying to make you feel like you're right there.
Intense. But adapting Tolkien, that dense epic, into a film, that was a monumental task.
Huge.
And I think a key to Jackson's success was his commitment to the visual storytelling. It felt, super physicalized?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The New Zealand locations basically became characters themselves.
Right. And then you add Miguel Dixon and Richard Taylor's incredible costume work, the creature designs.
And the effects.
Yeah.
The subtle stuff, too, like how they handled the perspective, the height differences for hobbits and dwarves. It wasn't just trickery. It integrated them so well into the world scale without breaking that immersion, that meticulous detail. That's a key takeaway for any big adaptation, isn't it?
Absolutely. The world has to feel tangible.
And then there's the casting.
Yeah.
Arguably the most critical part.
Could be. Ian McKellen's Gandalf. He just instantly became the old wizard we all know and love. Iconic.
Totally. And Viggo Mortensen as Aragorn, capturing that lost king vibe, that reluctance, but also the nobility underneath.
Yeah, he really embodied that conflict.
And the four hobbits. I remember critics were initially a bit worried about Elijah Wood and Sean Astin because they were already known faces.
Right. Would they just be Elijah Wood and Sean Astin?
Exactly, but they completely anchored the emotional core. Their friendship felt so real, it carried the whole journey's weight.
It really did. And you can't forget the humor, right? Pippin and Gimli provided that essential balance.
Oh, definitely needed that lightness.
And Howard Shore's score. Superlative, creative, complimentary. It just became part of the world building.
It really did. Those themes instantly transport you. It's like another character guiding your emotions. And, the Lord of the Rings franchise is obviously far from over. We've got Season 2 of Rings of Power coming August 29th on Prime Video, exploring Sauron's rise.
Right.
But here's something interesting for the future of adaptations. A new film, The Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum.
Oh, yeah.
Aimed for 2026. Andy Serkis is directing and reprising Gollum, and Peter Jackson's producing.
Ah, so they're leaning back into that original core talent.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Which is a powerful move for a beloved franchise, right? Keep that continuity.
Makes sense. But, okay, moving beyond the big screen, Fellowship has shown up in other media too, hasn't it? Each needing a different approach.
Yeah, like the 1981 BBC radio dramatization.
Ah, yes. A fascinating one. Originally aired as, 26-hour-long segments?
That's right, later re-edited. And here's a really interesting link. Peter Jackson apparently gave this radio drama to his cast members if they hadn't read the books.
No kidding, so it directly influenced the film performances.
Seems like it. Specific things like Gollum's scattered, frantic manner that Andy Serkis nailed. Already there in the radio version.
Wow.
And Ian Holm, who played Bilbo in the films.
Yeah.
He played Frodo in the radio drama.
Get out! That's amazing. So the radio version really laid some groundwork.
It seems so. And its approach to chronology is interesting too. Things that were flashbacks in the books, like Gandalf's journey to Bree, then Isengard. They presented them chronologically.
Which makes perfect sense for radio, right? Purely auditory, so a linear narrative is much clearer without visual cues for flashback.
Exactly. It shows how the medium dictates structural choices.
And the character portrayals offer cool contrasts, too. Holmes' Frodo was apparently more grown-up. Bill Nighy played Sam, less doofish.
Interesting.
Michael Hordern's Gandalf was familiar, but Robert Stevens' Aragorn, he was described as self-assured and confident, really embracing his destiny. Quite different from Jackson's more reluctant take.
So even with faithful adaptations, there's room for interpretation based on the medium.
Definitely. Though apparently not everything landed perfectly. Some reviews mention Gollum's voice being maybe too big, or the Eagle Gwaihir sounding a bit disappointing.
Always trade-offs.
Okay.
And let's pivot completely. A board game adaptation. The Lord of the Rings. The Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game.
Right. So, for anyone unfamiliar, a trick-taking game is where you play cards trying to win rounds or tricks, usually by playing the highest card of a suit. This one's cooperative.
And a campaign game, so it follows the story.
Yeah, 18 chapters following the book's plot. If you lose a game in a chapter, you just replay it. And players take on character roles: Frodo, Gandalf, Aragorn, etc.
With different goals.
Exactly. Frodo might need to win, say, 4 more tricks, while Pippin might need to win the fewest. The suits are thematic too: mountains, rings, shadows, mines, forests.
Cool. But what's the core challenge?
The limited communication. You're generally not allowed to discuss the cards in your hand. You have to deduce what others might have based on what's played.
Ooh, tricky.
Very. But what's fascinating is how players adapt. Our sources mention a common house rule where players do discuss character preferences during setup.
Like what?
Like someone saying, my hand looks awful, I should probably be Pippin this round. It technically breaks the rule.
But makes it more engaging.
Exactly. It shows how players sometimes bend rules to enhance the experience, finding that balance between the designer's intent and, well, having fun.
It's like the players are readapting the adaptation.
Yeah, kind of. And it apparently has a really solid solo mode, which is a big plus compared to some similar games like The Crew. You control 4 characters with limited card info.
So it's accessible even for solo players.
Yeah, praised for being easy to learn, play, replay, even if you're distracted. Plus, the art style, this stained glass look for characters and suits, is apparently very thematic and appealing.
Nice. How does it stack up against The Crew then, since you mentioned it?
Well, similarities. Cooperative trick-taking, campaigns, small box, limited communication. But the LODR game has those character roles with changing goals.
Oh.
And The Crew has these crucial communication tokens that the LODR game lacks. Which makes the communication in the LODR game feel brutal sometimes, unless you use those house rules. Shows how subtle design choices really impact player interaction.
Okay, so we've looked at adapting a classic, incredibly detailed epic. But what happens when the source material doesn't really have a traditional story, like it's built on player freedom?
Right. Which brings us to the next frontier, Minecraft and The Last of Us.
Starting with Minecraft, adapting that into a movie. That sounds like a massive challenge.
It really is, just because of what the game is. Like our sources said, Minecraft has no side quests, stories, or characters to pull from. Every experience of Minecraft varies widely.
So how do you even start?
Exactly. The core problem is turning this player-driven open sandbox into a linear movie narrative.
So what did the movie try to do? What's the plot?
Well, they imposed one. You've got Justin, Henry, his sister Natalie, Dawn, all pulled from their regular lives into the overworld.
Oh, wait.
They get saved by Steve, played by Jack Black, who's like a pro in this world. They have to journey across biomes to fight the bad guy, the Piglins' Queen Melosia.
Yes, new villain.
Yep. And they threw in Jason Momoa as Garrett the Garbage Man and Jennifer Coolidge as Vice Principal Marlin.
Wow. That sounds...
Madcap.
Yeah, madcap is the word.
That's exactly the tone they seem to go for, a fun-filled spectacle. But Jack Black's performance, some found it a bit grating, lots of name-dropping game mechanics, apparently TikTok references.
Trying too hard, maybe. That fan service trap.
Could be. It can definitely alienate people if it doesn't feel organic.
So how was the reception overall? Mixed, I'm guessing.
Pretty mixed, yeah. Described as far from perfect, lots of candy-colored CGI. One reviewer even mentioned a facepalm moment, though it was from Fellowship, actually, Pippin alerting the ringwraiths, just to illustrate that general frustration when adaptations make characters do baffling things.
Right, that feeling of why would they do that?
Exactly. But despite the flaws, the Minecraft movie was also called surprisingly endearing and earnest, a celebration of creativity.
Huh.
However, critics definitely pointed to missed opportunities. Given the game's limitless creativity, the story felt maybe a bit generic.
Like they didn't lean into the game's strengths.
Perhaps. There were apparently out-of-place subplots, like the vice principal's romance with a villager.
Okay.
And crucially, iconic game elements like the Ender Dragon or Creepers were mostly sidelined for this new villain, Melogia.
It seems like a weird choice, replacing the known threats.
Yeah, it highlights that risk of just creating a standard plot instead of embracing what makes the source unique, that player-driven freedom.
So who's it actually for then?
Seems like enjoyment really depends on your age and your experience with the video game. It's seen as mostly disposable, but something that will certainly please the young ones.
And tolerated by parents.
Pretty much. It's often the outcome when you try to force a traditional narrative onto something that isn't one. You can lose the original's essence.
Okay, so from that chaotic open world, let's go to a game adaptation praised for its intense narrative focus, The Last of Us TV series.
Right. And what's key here is, unlike a lot of zombie shows, it keeps this narrow focus on the consequences of terrible decisions, moral ambiguity, and unimaginable trade-offs.
Yeah, they really leaned into the game's core themes.
That was a crucial choice. And it paid off immediately. Season 1 ended with that massive lie from Joel to Ellie.
Denying he shot up the hospital to save her.
Oof, yeah. Driven by protection, but still a defining moral choice. And Season 2 picks up 5 years later. Ellie's 19, played by Bella Ramsey, Joel by Pedro Pascal, living with that weight in Jackson.
And the show wasn't afraid to take narrative risks early on, right? Like episode 3 in Season 1.
Oh, absolutely. It flipped the script,
Yeah.
dedicating a whole episode to Bill and Frank's 16-year love story, expanding hugely on a side element from the game.
That won an Emmy, didn't it?
It did. And it sent a clear message. This show was never just about the undead. It was about human connection, the cost of survival, a bold move that defined the series' priorities.
So, Season 2, how are they developing the characters? Ellie's still struggling?
Definitely. Engaging in justified battles with planners, apparently. Bella Ramsey is praised for balancing that insecurity and innocence as Ellie grapples with everything.
And Pascal as Joel.
He just slides back into that weary Joel role so comfortably. His star power is undeniable now. And we even meet Gail, Joel's therapist.
The therapist paid in weed and whiskey.
Apparently. And she challenges him about Ellie shutting him out, forces him to confront his feelings. These character moments show how TV can deepen the narrative, explore that psychological fallout.
So the infected are still around, but they're not the main focus.
Exactly. The show's heart is still firmly in the human heart, the terrible decisions made to survive. It's really a masterclass in amplifying a game's core themes for TV.
Okay, wow. We've covered a lot of ground here. From the enduring magic of Middle-earth
to the blocky world of Minecraft.
And the morally gray landscape of The Last of Us. It's quite a spectrum.
It really is. And what stands out, I think, is that whether it's an ancient epic or a modern game, jumping to a new medium is never just a simple translation.
No, it always involves creative choices, interpretations, sometimes total reinventions.
Right. And those choices can either deepen our connection or, really challenge how we see the original material.
Absolutely. You see Jackson's reverence for Tolkien, translating that epic scope, then the Minecraft movie trying to wrangle chaos into a plot, with mixed results.
While The Last of Us just doubled down on the human drama, using TV to amplify the game's character focus.
Each medium demands something different, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Film spectacle, radio soundscape, a game strategy, TV's character depth. They all have different strengths.
Which leads to a big question for you, the listener. How does your own relationship with a story, that deep personal connection, affect how you receive an adaptation?
Yeah, does knowing it inside out make you more critical of changes? or maybe more open to seeing it in a new light.
And ultimately, what does it say about these stories themselves that they can not only survive, but actually evolve and thrive across such different canvases?
Something to definitely think about until our next deep dive.